First of all, many congratulations. Back last week, hell of an effort. How are you feeling in terms of the captaincy?
Excited. Obviously, lots of boys sort of getting opportunities on the weekend. It was a different challenge to last week. But for me, it's just trying to sort of back up last week's performance, really. And the captaincy doesn't really change much for me other than maybe a bit more decision making and speaking to the ref. But other than that, I'll be trying to play my game in exactly the same way as usual, really.
In terms of Fiji, Ellis, obviously there's a few absentees with their Southern Hemisphere players not being able to play and different coaching team as well. But I spoke to a few of the boys regarding the last time they played in the World Cup, and they're not surprised, but their physical attributes have gone up another level.
Yeah, well, they're a team full of athletes, aren't they? You see quite often the Fijians are the most exciting players in whatever teams they're playing for. They've got moments of magic, and with their sort of offloading game as well. Where they've probably struggled is a little bit more of the structured stuff. So that's sort of where we'll be going after them. We've sort of spoken about not getting tugged into too much of a loose game and trying to sort of out Fiji, but also being very accurate because they're very high risk, high reward, but they will make mistakes, and it's about trying to come alive then when they do and capitalize on them. Yeah, in the World Cup game was a prime example of that. Really, they turn it on for 5 minutes, and no matter how good your defensive systems are, you don't really need to miss any tackles for them to get in behind you and score. But the challenge for them is to be able to keep that consistent throughout the game, and the challenge for us is to make sure we do everything we can to pressure their skills and to capitalize on their mistakes.
And historically, this game, if I can use the term, the team that Wales would be expected to win, if I can use it like that, hasn't always gone plain sailing in the autumn.
No, I think it's one of those things in that you sort of have a team that's an easier team, or a team that's perceived as easier, and you make changes. You look at boys sort of who haven't had the opportunity. You give rests to boys who've played lots of game time, and quite often, maybe there's not as much consistency. There's not much consistency at all from sort of the last 2 weeks compared to this one. Whereas I think there's probably a little bit more consistency this time than maybe the last couple of years. But it's a big challenge as well. Fiji they're a physical team. There's going to be some sore bodies on Monday morning, and it's a good opportunity for the boys stepping in who might, some of the boys have only played a handful of games, particularly in the stadium in front of a crowd as well, and obviously a potential first cap on the bench as well.
Psychologically, this game and next week, how psychological are they? I think it's the rule that Wales have to be grouped with Fiji and Australia in the World Cup. But what bearing has the game tomorrow and next week have on proceedings in 2 years?
None at all. I'd say it'd be nice for bragging rights more than anything else, but yeah, from a psychological point of view, none at all.
Just finally for me, I know you just mentioned the captaincy, that is no different. Do you feel it's come full circle for yourself? 3 years since when you captained the side, out in America, to the present day?
Yeah, I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Like I said, it's not something that massively phases me. I tend to be quite vocal on the pitch anyway, and in terms of organising and particularly problem solving. So I guess it's just maybe a little bit more responsibility, but not something that I feel affects my game, or like I said, or changes the way I approach things. So even when I'm not captain, I'll have a lot of input with whoever is captain, and I've got lots of boys out there tomorrow that will be doing the same for me. It's not really one man making all the decisions and trying to G everyone up. It's a sort of group of maybe the more senior players that do that, and there's plenty of them in the team tomorrow.
Many thanks, Ellis. Have a good one.
Cheers. Thank you.
Alice, Matt, how are you?
Hiya, Matt. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Just following on from that, when we spoke back in March, talked about you coming back to play for Wales and stuff like that. Did you expect everything to come as quickly? I mean, you're sitting here as captain now.
It's a tough one. There's been days where I feel really good, and I'll play a couple of games and feel really good and think, yeah, this is going well, and I'm confident that when my body's feeling good, and I'm able to train fully and play, that I'm confident that I can play at this level and sort of back it up. There's obviously then days where you don't feel so good, where the doubt set in, but it's just trying to sort of remember where you've come from, really, and sort of not get sort of too carried away with the highs or the lows. But no, obviously it's something I've wanted to do, is get back playing for Wales, and something I've worked really hard to do. I'm just fortunate that it's come around, really.
Have you? I think I remember you playing in a back row with Josh Navidi and Sam Warburton once for Cardiff. But have you played with two other open sides on many other occasions?
I think me, Ollie, and Navs would have played together a couple of times as well. But me, well, I would have played with Thomas for Cardiff RFC when we were younger as well, sort of 17, 18, and Josh Navidi might have been. Well, we've definitely played as a three for Cardiff when we were younger. But it's just we feed off each other, really. I think it's a bit over-egged. Lots of flankers are multi-skilled and can play across the back row, and the numbers don't really mean a whole amount, just particularly for us three on the weekend. We're all sort of doing a bit of everything. So looking forward to it.
I spoke to Sean Edwards last week, and he said the same. When it's in open play, the numbers on the backs of the back row don't really make a difference whether you've got a conventional number 8 or not.
No, not at all. Not at all. Like any back rower, really, you've got to be pretty good at most things. Lots of players have probably got one thing that stands them out compared to the rest, but you've got to be pretty efficient across the board. And yeah, it's probably a lot has been made about the three open sides, lack of height, lack of size or whatever. But hopefully we'll bring different strengths into it that'll suit our game. And like I said, hopefully we can feed off each other as well.
Look to be going hard at the breakdown, I assume.
Yeah, well, hopefully we've got most of the ball, so we won't have to. But that's obviously probably a strength of ours. But just the link play as well. Hopefully they keep the continuity going. There'll be a big focus on, like I said earlier, capitalising on their mistakes. I think it's the speed of reaction as well is probably a strength of a traditional open side, to clean up the scraps and sort of get the attack going in transition as well. So we'll see how we go.
And just lastly from me, when did you find out you were going to be captain, and how were you told?
Wayne said to me on when would it have been? Tuesday we were back in. So obviously with kick off on Sunday. We had an extra day off after the South Africa game. So Tuesday he said that there's going to be a couple of changes this week, and my name was in the mix to be captain. He said, "Is that going to affect you?" And I said no. I said happy days. And so then obviously when the team was named, it was nice to see to see my name up there. But like I said, as long as I'm playing, I'm happy.
Cheers, mate. All the best on the weekend.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.
Done? Happy days.